Hi there, and thanks for joining me for this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. I'm here on the east coast of Cyprus, and on my way here, I made a quick stop in London, England to attend the World Travel Market. Just a quick shout out here from World Travel Market here in London, England. I made a quick stop off on my way between Madeira and Cyprus to attend this annual convention, which is one of the largest gatherings of travel professionals from around the world. The show this year was half the size as it's been in previous years. I guess that is a sign of the times. Many countries were not even present. Canada wasn't here at the show, Australia, New Zealand, a few countries in Europe. So certainly an indication that we're still not back to where we were before the pandemic, but I think that comes as no surprise. What's also been interesting, apart from my stop in the UK, was the experiences I've been having in traveling across Europe. Since the 1st of October, I've been in Austria, Italy, France, Switzerland, Portugal, including Madeira, the UK, and now here in Cyprus. And everywhere I've gone, there's been a bit of a different reaction in terms of the public behavior to the pandemic. In Austria and Switzerland, in the central part of Europe, as one might expect, they're quite strictly adhering to the requirement to wear a mask in all public places, shops, and so on, and also about requesting the COVID pass or the vaccination certificate in every restaurant. In Italy, for example, they were a little bit more lax with regards to the vaccination certificate, but at the same time, people were quite rigorous about wearing masks in public places. In France, it was a little bit the opposite of that. They were asking for COVID certificates for restaurants, but you saw less people out in public wearing the masks. In Portugal and Madeira, I'm pleased to say that they were again they had quite a good protocol for entering the country in terms of ensuring that people had their required documents in order to enter. There was a whole system set up at the airport for that. And out in public, again, people were definitely wearing masks in public places, and the COVID certificates or the vaccination certificates were required. I was a little bit surprised by the UK, that despite the fact that they are once again entering another wave of the pandemic, and all of the warnings and the requirements to wear masks in public places, most notably on the London Underground, the tube, their version of the subway, despite all this, less than half the people present were wearing masks and out in public, and the same thing even in shops. A lot less rigorousness as it relates to how they are dealing with the pandemic. And perhaps there's a correlation to what's happening in terms of their rising COVID cases. I'm not sure. Nevertheless, I was following the rules everywhere I went. As far as I'm concerned, that's the only way to play the game. But it has been interesting to see in Europe how things have been going. Thankfully, here in Cyprus as well, the situation appears to be well under control. Once again, they have their protocols for entering the country, and vaccinations are progressing very well. So I feel very good about our upcoming trips to Madeira and Cyprus, and then we'll just have to see how the rest of Europe fares as the next couple of months progress. So this past week, we had an update on our Madeira live-away happening in February, most notably the fact that I've decided to switch hotels. And so if you missed that, there is a link to the webinar replay in the blog below, and we will be issuing the brochure with the new information about the new hotel in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. We have a great group coming, so if you haven't made plans for the winter, consider joining us in Madeira. Similarly, this coming Thursday, November the 11th, at a different time. It's in the blog below. We're going to postpone it to the afternoon because, of course, it's Remembrance Day. We will have our webinar updating you on the situation in Cyprus, our live-away there in March, and I'll have more news to you to bring. As you can see, the weather is fantastic. I hope to get to enjoy a little bit of the beautiful weather as I'm running around inspecting hotels and checking everything in preparation for our upcoming trip. So take care, and I will be reporting back to you next week from the west coast of Cyprus. I look forward to catching up with you then.